Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Christ and Calisthenics. I'm happy to be able to present to you all once today. I gathered some pretty good content, I think. Hopefully, we can, relate it to the subject at hand. Excuse me. You all have to excuse my orange chair, and I'm not using a desk. I'm trying to make it as informal as possible. This chair used to belong to my grandmother. She passed last year. So I felt that, that would be a little bit special. But today's topic is foolishness. The reason I picked foolishness is because I believe it was last Monday, I could be mistaken, when we had the presidential debate. All of us know how that went. All of us know how we feel about the candidates. I am not here to persuade you one way or the other. This is not about politics, because that's something that divides us already. Politics, socioeconomic status, race, all of these things that are things that divide us. And I'm trying to bring us together. So my topic is something that everyone can agree that's going on right now, and that's foolishness. No matter where you stand, no matter what party you are affiliated with, all of us can come to the conclusion that there's a lot of foolishness going on. So the text that I pulled from was 2 Timothy chapter 3. And in 2 Timothy chapter 3, Paul is writing to Timothy from prison, and Timothy's a pastor, and he's essentially giving him instructions on how to carry out his legacy, what to look for, or what to look out for, I should say, how to proceed, letting him know that, you already have the instructions you need to move forward from me, so use those instructions. And as I was reading this, I have to tell you, it was amazing how information that's in the Bible, it's like it's never outdated. And I have this is called the National Living Translation. I think that's what it is. New Living Translation, Parallel Study Bible. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the New Living Translation or the Life Application Bible, but it gives you both footnotes in one. This was about, I say, $44. So it's really not that expensive. I can certainly figure out, I've spent $44 on random things that I shouldn't have bought. So, it's a great investment. And you all have to remember that the Bible is the #1 all-time bestseller. So for those of you that like to read, why not pick it up? But back to the topic we have here. As I said, Timothy was a pastor in Ephesus that was extremely faithful, and Paul was just trying to let him know that there are going to be a number of false prophets and false teachers and people presenting information that's incorrect, or they're portraying something that they're not, in order to get you to come in. Once you get in, then they show you your true colors. And if we look at our candidates, not even just the two that we have now, but even in the past, it seems as if they sell you dreams, and once they get in that position of power, you're like, well, what happened to this, or what happened to that? It's not there. They got what they wanted. They got your vote. They got an office. So now let my true agenda come out. Once I'm in, you can't get me out unless you impeach me. But that doesn't have anything to do with the typical American citizen. So, and that goes back to the point of Paul providing those instructions. Stick with what you know, or what has been instilled in you. 2 Timothy 3:3 states, they will be unloving, and unforgiving. They will slander others and have no self-control. We look at both Trump and Hillary, and they continuously take shots at each other instead of focusing on the topics at hand. And I personally don't understand that, because for either individual, once you get into office in that position of power that you're seeking, it's not about talking about the other person or seeing what you can dig up or seeing who you can get to say something bad about the other person. It's about your core values, or America's core values, to see how we can excel. How can we remain a world power? How can we help other countries without hurting ourselves? How can we lessen the divide between races? I mean, granted, it's not, in yesteryear, 1960, 1950s, but we still have some issues to work out. And I'm not just saying African Americans and Caucasians. I mean, you have to think about the Hispanic community, the Native American community. There's a lot of injustices going on. I mean, recently here we've been dealing with, whites and African Americans, but those are things that should be focused on. Even if you want to just talk about the economy, that's fine. But the past two debates that we've watched, people are dodging questions, or instead of answering the question, they gotta throw a shot in there. Even if they do answer it, there has to be a jab thrown from either side, and that's just amazing, amazing to me. And the information that is being provided by the candidates should be factual, in my opinion. Second Timothy 3:14 states, "But you must remain faithful to the things you have been taught. You have been taught by the scriptures from childhood, and they have given you the wisdom to receive the salvation that comes by trusting in Christ Jesus." In the text, Paul is referring Timothy back to the Old Testament, or the Old Law. That's your basis. This is what you know. This is what you go back to. Now, if you want to relate that to natural terms, let's go back to the laws that were written before us. What does the presidential office, what are the responsibilities? Let's not try to recreate the wheel. I mean, as time goes on, we certainly must evolve, but the basics is what you build off of. And I mean, I like basketball, so I'll use a basketball analogy. A lot of times we look at Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving. I mean, they can handle the basketball really well, really well. But they wouldn't have gotten to this elite status without first picking up the ball and dribbling. Just a basic dribble. And the same thing with the opposite hand. So you can't know how to cross over or go behind the back if you can't do a basic dribble. And this is one thing that's concerning to me, even if you want to go beyond the foolishness that we're seeing with the presidential candidates. People aren't sticking to the basics, and it's causing a lot of problems. Treat others the way that you want to be treated. Love one another. It doesn't get any more basic than that. And until we go back to what we were taught, I think we're gonna be in this rut. And in the Bible, the subject says, understand the dangers of the last days. We truly are in the last days. I'm not saying that the world's going to end tomorrow or the rapture's going to be next week. But, I mean, honestly, look at what's going on around us and tell me that sometimes you don't sit down and think, man, that the world cannot get any worse than it is right now. There's not too many people that can honestly say that. Another thing, as Paul was informing Timothy in the scripture, you have to seek God in everything that you do. A lot of times we as Christians forget that. We get into this position, well, this is good enough, or I'm in a good enough position where I can do this on my own. I got it. I know what I'm doing. No, you don't. And something that I personally struggle with sometimes is distinguishing God's voice from our own thoughts. Because sometimes we may ask for something, or we may want something, and we're praying about it. And while we're praying, we're saying that, okay, I can get it. I got it. I'm going to go ahead and do it. And God hasn't said anything. The only way to distinguish between the two is having an intimate relationship with Him. The only way to have an intimate relationship with Him is to spend time with Him. Whether it's reading, whether it's praying, whether it's just devotion, whether it's singing, it doesn't matter. He appreciates it all. And He'll reward you for that. And when I say that, I don't mean, well, it could be, a physical reward, but the spiritual reward is much greater. And I have found that, arguments have been reduced. Disagreements have been reduced. All sorts of things by just spending time with Him and creating a better relationship. So my encouraging word to you today is, I know things are kind of like in an uproar right now. A lot of us, are like, well, we're voting for the lesser of the two evils. Like, we're not looking at who's going to do a good job. We're looking at who's not going to do as bad of a job. And I don't think that's a good thing. So the only thing that I really want to say about it is seek God. I'm not saying, stand on the left or stand on the right. I'm saying seek God, and He'll give you who you should vote for. I mean, it's that simple. It's that simple, and you will know. It's that simple. A lot of us think that because we are not in Bible times, that certain things don't relate to us. All of the things going on right now has already been predetermined, and that's another difficult thing to kind of wrap our heads around, because God knows, He knows all. Like He created the heavens and the earth. He created all of us. So he already knows everything. And I know sometimes when death occurs or something like that, we question, well, why God, why'd you allow this to happen? This is something bad. But something positive almost always comes out of every death. And when I say positive, I don't mean, justice. I'm saying maybe new research is started, or maybe awareness is brought to something. That's what I mean by good or positive. God has a life assignment for all of us. And again, the only way to find that life assignment is by creating an intimate relationship with Him. But I know it's Saturday, and I know you have better things to do than to listen to me talk on YouTube all day. But I really, really appreciate you all watching. The content will get better. Videos will probably get longer. Of course, you can comment, like, share, let me know what I can do better on. Let me know what you like, what don't you like. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook is Russell Nelson, just my name. My Instagram is ChristandCalisthenics, and my Twitter is I'm Russ, YEPIMRUSS. And again, I look forward to bringing this to you all next week. Not sure what the topic is going to be yet, but I have an idea, but we'll see. We'll see. Again, I thank you all for your time, and have a great weekend.